Hi, my name is Leonardo Gonzalez and welcome to my channel. In this video I'll be talking about how you could get free money in college. And the way I went about doing this was I used subsidized student loans while I was in college to get free money, and I used that money by investing it. So I know what you're thinking, student loans might have a bad reputation. That's because some students might go out and go clubbing, or they'll just blow it all away in one night. Now that's not the idea, because this money is borrowed money. It's not your money. However, you can turn this borrowed money into some of your money if you play your cards right and invest it properly. I'll be talking about 4 ways how you can invest this money. Now, if you already use student loans to pay for your classes, well then just invest the difference. Even if it's only $1,000, $500, $100, that money is borrowed at that moment. But if you invest it, then you can turn that $1,000 into maybe 100, 200 of your actual money by the time you graduate throughout your 4 years if you would have invested it. So the first way to invest this money would be by putting it into a savings account. This is the lowest risk and the lowest return of all of them. Now when you do this method, you can expect around a 1% return on investment. It's not going to be too much, but it is guaranteed, and that can't be said for the other 3 forms of investing. So the second way to invest this money would be investing it into mutual funds. There are 4 mutual funds: stock, money market, bond, and index funds. Personally, I would recommend the index fund. And overall, when it comes to all these mutual funds, they're pretty safe. It's better than betting on one stock, because since they're mutual funds, it's like a combination of multiple stocks or forms of investing which are diversified, so it's like spread out. I say index funds because over the past 100 years, it's been proven that it's between like maybe a 7% return annually overall. So you would have a pretty safe bet going into with these mutual funds. Now, if I were to recommend one personally in a specific mutual fund, I would recommend the index fund, and in particular the S&P 500. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it already, and that's a pretty common one, but it is common for a reason. It has been well producing and it doesn't have too much risk. So I would rate this term of investment as a medium risk to high return. And now the third way to invest would be to invest into real estate. This does require the most commitment, time, and money. When it comes to investing in real estate, I would say there are multiple ways to actually go about it, but the best one would be going into rental properties. That is actually the one I did, which I'll get into a little bit more into the video later. But when it comes to rental properties, the way it works is basically you buy a property, then you have a mortgage on it. You have a tenant go into that property, they'll pay off your mortgage, and if you bought it right, well then you'll be getting some cash flow on top of that. So you'll be generating money monthly, and on top of that you'll be building equity into the property. Over the time, this has been proven to get like a 10 to 12% return annually for most people that invest into real estate, and I'm pretty sure that's regarding all forms of investing, but I would say rental is the best way when using this strategy, which is using student loans into investing. I would say this is a little bit riskier though, because as opposed to an index fund where you have a diverse portfolio, with real estate, you buy one property, all your eggs are in that one basket. So that's why I gotta emphasize to buy it correctly, because if you don't, it could be a major headache and you could actually end up losing money. Even though it is a pretty safe bet if you bought the right property. With the wrong property, things could go south, or if the wrong tenant, things could go south. So that's why I would deem this as like a medium to high risk, but always a high return if you buy it right. Now the fourth way you can invest this money would be investing it into yourself. Let's say you're a salesman or you have your own product. You can pay for marketing ads, or you can try to get more business, like go out and canvass the areas or try to hire on more people into your business. You're investing in yourself, so that could always have a high return, but if done wrong, you could end up losing all the money that you invested into it. So this would definitely be the most riskiest, but also could have the highest reward, but you could also end up losing a lot of money when it comes to it too. So that's why I put it towards the end. So the investment strategy that I used was I invested in real estate. I could have done index funds, but I was more passionate about real estate, so that was what I went into. I bought a property for around $75,000, an apartment, and I actually just closed on it around like 2 weeks ago, so I'm in the process of looking for a tenant to pay that off. So I'll be having my mortgage paid for, and I should have a cash flow of around $200. You should always expect when you're renting a property, like into rental properties, at least like $100 per unit, so it'd be profitable. So you could have some like leeway, and then you could pay off your equity, and then your payments monthly will go down, which involves more cash flow, of course. Now you might be asking how I use my student loan money to pay for that $72,000 property. And no, I did not put all $72,000 from my student loans. What I did was I put that into the down payment. I bought it as a second home property, and so that actually requires a 10% down. If it was a primary residence, it'd be around 3.5 with an FHA, or if it was an investment, it'd be 25%. I went for a second home just because I had the means to do so, since I had more money from my student loans. And if you're wondering, yes, they do check where your money comes from when it comes to how you're going to pay for the down payment. They don't normally accept borrowed money, but there is an exception. If it's been in your account for more than 3 months, and this was what Quicken Loans told me specifically, so look into it more, because I'm not a financial expert, but do look into it because it was done for me. So I had that money in my account for longer than 3 months, so they didn't look any further into it, and they allowed me to use that money for the down payment. So for those who aren't familiar with college yet, or for those who are, there are two different types of government loans. There's subsidized loans and then there's unsubsidized loans. Subsidized loans are the ones where the government backs up your interest, so you don't have to worry about your interest while you're studying in college and until 6 months after you graduate. So they give you time to find a job and build an income to pay for the loan. Unsubsidized loans are the ones where the second you take out the loan, you owe interest on that immediately. So for this strategy to work, do not take any unsubsidized loans out. Only maximize your subsidized loans. And the government allows you to do this every semester. And some might not know this, but it's also allowed in the summer, which I personally did too. So you could get 3 loans in the year and always max these out because cash is king. And you're going to have cash available for you to invest. So always do that, but never take out an unsubsidized loans because that will be interest. As we're subsidized, it won't be. When it comes to my background, I go to Florida International University and I'm a senior. I study business and my concentration is in logistics. I'll be graduating this actually spring in 2019, so I'll be graduating at the age of 21. This is due to me taking a lot of dual enrollment classes back in high school. I interned at Fiat Chrysler Automotive, which is actually Fiat, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Alfa Romeo, and Maserati. And I got a job offer, so I'll be moving up there in Michigan, which is where I bought my property. So my first investment was actually an out-of-state investment. So you can imagine all the work I had to put in to get that through. And when it comes to actually getting that done, it did not happen overnight. I took 2 years preparing. From the age of 18, I started reading, listening to Bigger Pockets, reading articles, watching videos. It took a lot of time. And then after about a year, that's when I really started dedicating myself to actually making it happen. And I was finally able to make that happen in the recent past, like a couple weeks ago. I do want to add that I am not a financial expert, so the advice I am giving you is purely from personal experience and from knowledge that I have learned myself. So don't take anything into I say as law. Just take it into consideration that I have taken some experience in it and you could take my advice and know that it's worth something. So that'll wrap up my video for my very first video. If you've liked the video so far, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel because there'll be more content just like this with financial tips and strategies to help you be more financially savvy. And if you have any ideas for any videos you would like me to do, just drop it below in the comments. Alright, thank you, have a great day. In Detroit for automotive, and when I was there I really learned a lot about business, and when I came back to Miami, because I'm in Miami, I spent time learning about like nothing. I don't know what I learned. Nothing. But it does have the most return, or it could at least. It could even have the least return. You end up like losing money. Oh, let me start that one over. That just sounds weird. And now the third in